Ahead of President Biden's State of the Union address, it is important to recognize the State of the Union for the 46 million immigrant and refugee community members living in the United States, including 11 million undocumented Americans, many of whom have lived here for decades and are our family, teachers, coworkers, and friends. We as immigrants, refugees, and descendants demand that the President and Congress reform our immigration system, provide a pathway to citizenship for our neighbors and friends, and invest in the communities that carried us through the pandemic and beyond.
The last meaningful changes to our federal immigration laws occurred nearly 40 years ago. In that time, our communities have been able to secure important victories at the state level. These wins include the right to driver's license, eligibility for health insurance, tuition equity, and in some states separating local police from ICE to prevent deportations.
However, the violence never ended. After surviving militarization of and family separation at the border, inhumane raids deep inside our own communities, xenophobic grants that have resulted in injury, death, and irreparable harm, and more, it is not hard to conclude that we are worse off than we were 40 years ago. Even today, we must speak out against the injustices targeting our communities and demand simple dignity from our state and federal governments.
Migrants have been murdered with spikes and traps in the Rio Grande. Brainwashed masked shooters target hard-working immigrant communities. People and families seeking asylum are either trapped at the border in inhumane conditions or tricked into buses that take them to places where they have no resources, support, or contacts. Longtime residents, families, and entire communities continue to be harmed by outdated immigration laws that create instability and provide no process to apply for residency or citizenship.
In the eyes of people seeking safety and asylum, the State of the Union only reflects the struggles that they have had to endure just to find safety, security, and gainful employment. Imagine the pain of breaking the ocean in half just to be here, only to meet that nothing wants you. Again, we demand that the President and Congress reform our immigration system, provide a pathway to citizenship for our neighbors and friends, and invest in the communities that carried us through the pandemic and beyond.
As a nation, we can choose to continue the politics of division and immigrant scapegoating, or we can choose to create a solution that strengthens our nation. In this moment, we can choose to denigrate and degrade our people, or we can choose to create a tide that uplifts our entire nation. Mr. President, members of Congress, and state representatives, we implore you, choose wisely.